Hello everyone, welcome to Chef Shelley's temporary kitchen. So for those of you that have tuned in on previous shows, you will realize that this is not my kitchen, my normal kitchen. And oftentimes, I do visit different places or when I go on vacation. You haven't heard from me in a while if you've been tuning in kind of every 2 weeks because I've been in transition. I started a new job and we are actually having a house built, and so for the time being we are in temporary housing. So this is just as good, but part of the reason why you haven't heard from me in a while and why this doesn't look familiar to you. But I'm going to tell you, when we move into our house, you will know it because it's an amazing, amazing kitchen. So I'm taping this around the fall time frame. I know people watch this at different times throughout the year. And so this is something that I just thought would be a nice treat around kind of the festive, fall festive. So we're going to be doing a pumpkin loaf with walnuts and chocolate chips, and we're going to use dark chocolate chips. Very simple recipe, and a lot of ingredients I'm sure you probably have, maybe not the cloves, so that'll be one little extra thing. So what I'm going to do, and as usual, I will of course record the quantities once I'm finished, and we'll put it on the website. But we're going to start with sugar, and this turns out to be about a 1 1/4 cup of sugar. To that, I'm going to add cream cheese. Now, this is the low-fat cream cheese, so you want to make sure you do that. It's 2 ounces, which turns out to be about half the size of kind of a normal stick. I'm also using a 1/4 cup of butter. So I don't use margarine because it doesn't process well in the body, so we're going to use butter. So we're going to go in and put this in the mixer. I'm going to get it started. So we're not going to put it on high so it doesn't take up so much of the volume there. So we're going to kind of mix this so this can get a little creamy. Once that creams up, then I'm going to add 2 eggs. After I add the 2 eggs, I'm going to add a can of pumpkin, okay? And I've decided to make this, you can make this as one big loaf. You can even make this in a bundt cake pan if you want to, or certainly it's great with cupcakes. I've chosen to use these 2 mini loaves, just much easier to do, and one's going to work for my Center for Creative Leadership family, and then the other is a treat my husband and I get to have. So just kind of watching this get a little creamy, and it's going really well. So I hope everyone's been having a great time. I know when I'm not taping for a while, I'll get little notes, welcome back. So it's nice to be missed, and I appreciate your patience as I've been transitioning. I've moved states and a lot of transition. Okay, so this has come to a creamy consistency. I'm going to add the eggs. I'm going to try to do one at a time. I've cracked both of them, obviously put them both in here. Just let that mix really well. And now we're going to add the second one. Okay, so we've got that going. And then once that mixes pretty well, and basically you just kind of want to make it creamy. I'm going to pause it here for a moment because I want to make sure all of it comes off of the side so everything is mixed really well. And make sure my butter gets in there because a little bit of that is sticking to my mixing bowl. Certainly if you're doing this with a hand mixer, it's much easier to see. But if you're doing a mixing bowl like I am, you're going to have to just kind of lift it up, make sure there's nothing on the sides, okay? All right, so let's go back at it for a little bit here. Okay. This looks really good. Of course, pumpkin spice, all of those things are wonderful in the fall. I love having something like this with some hot apple cider, maybe sprinkled with a little cinnamon or nutmeg, you know, hey, whatever you fit your fancy. All right, this is looking great. This is mixed fairly well. Still, the butter's got to do a little better. And I'm gonna give it some help by adding this pumpkin. So I'm gonna go in and add the pumpkin to it now. And again, I'm gonna use just a whole can of pumpkin. Okay. What I am going to come out with another, because a lot of people do buy the whole pumpkin, and so I'm going to show you how you can actually make some really nice pumpkin seeds, you know, roasted pumpkin seeds, which is delicious. I started doing it and adding hot sauce. You can add all kinds of sauces to it to make it delicious, make it your own. I never thought I would like the hot sauce on it, but it adds just a nice little flavor, and it's just a nice way to really kind of use all of the pumpkin. Okay, so let's go on and give this a nice mix. I'm going to turn the speed up just a little bit. Okay. Now, while that is mixing over here, I'm going to add together flour, and this is about 1 3/4 cup of flour, and I have a mixture here. This is baking soda, cinnamon, clove, and salt. So I'm going to just take this, use my knife here, and then just dump this in together. So I'm going to mix this up a little bit. So let's put this over here, get this out of the way, and mix it up. And we're going to actually add this, while that's mixing over there, we'll do this, and then we're going to add that mixture together. And then 2 of my secret ingredients, I've mixed together here some walnuts that I have chopped. And then these are dark chocolate. Remember, dark chocolate is good for you, so use the dark chocolate. And I'm just going to pour this here together, because then we're going to actually pour it into the pumpkin mix, okay? So we're just going to mix it nicely, like so. Okay, now let's go back over here to our pumpkin. What's over here? Again, I still have a little bit of a stubborn piece of butter, and it's got to get mixed. So I think what I'm going to do is after I add the flour, I'm going to put this on high speed so I can make sure it gets mixed. Now, you know, if you want to, you could have just melted the butter and put it in, totally up to you. I'm going to take this off for right now so that I can have an easy way of just pouring this in, okay? So I'm going to just pour in, this is flour and our seasoning and our chocolate chip. It's going to be so delicious. Okay, put that like so. Now let's put our tool back on. Now let's get to mixing. So I'm going to mix this for a while, and I think what I'm going to do, let's see how this goes, because I may just turn this off and come back just so I can mix it and it's not so noisy. Okay, it's actually doing pretty well. Okay, let's get the sides. Again, a very simple dish that's delicious, something that you can make as a loaf, you can make it as a cupcake. This is something that you actually don't even need to add an icing to. But if you want to, then you can do a cream cheese icing. And I do have a recipe out there for cream cheese icing. So if you want to keep it more low-cal, then I would say skip the icing and just go with this deliciousness. So let's see. And it's kind of thick. And I'm going to show you the consistency here in a bit. Of course, the chocolate morsels are rising to the top because they're so heavy. Okay. But this is turning out perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I love this time of year. You know, many of you know that I grew up in New Jersey. And So I like the changing of the leaves, the different seasons, and this just kind of reminds me a little bit about that. We like taking a drive up to the mountains and seeing the leaves when they change at their peak. All right, believe it or not, I think this is good to go. Let's see. Consistency is looking good. I want to show that to you. And you'll see it also as I pour this out into the dishes, okay? So let's put this stuff out of the way. All of this out of the way here. And I'm gonna just mix it, make sure it's mixed nicely. Got all these nice chocolate chips, and the thing about it is that they'll melt inside. Oh, so good. Okay. Now, it's very possible, what I'm going to suggest is you fill this to about 3/4 of the container, because it will rise. If you have more, then if you have certainly some cupcake trays, just put the rest in your cupcake trays, okay? Now, I've already greased these with Pam spray, so I'm going to just pour it in nicely, like so. And honestly, I think I could get 3 of these. So, yeah, I've got enough for 3. So what I'm going to do is, again, whatever you have, if you want to do cupcakes or, I'm going to just try to do 3 trays. And so I'll take the rest. But what I'm going to do for now is go on and take these and put them in the oven. We're going to put them in the oven on 350, and they're going to cook for just about an hour. So you can kind of see it's thick, but you know, still smooth like cake mix. Okay, so let's do that. Let's put them in the oven, and we'll come back and we'll see how delicious they look. Okay, we're back. Now, here's one of those things, you know, trial and error, plus I'm working with a new stove. This only took just under 40 minutes. So that's why it's going to be really important for you to know what your oven, how your oven cooks. I recommended an hour. If you were doing it in a large 1 loaf pan, I would probably say stick with an hour. However, check on it at about 30 minutes and then 45 minutes. And what you can do is just take a toothpick in, stick it in, see if it comes out. If it's still moist, then you know it needs to go in a little longer. I'm just putting my hands are clean, obviously. I wouldn't cook if they weren't. But I want you to just kind of get a look at this. This is just absolutely, I think it's not, I just took it out. Just absolutely gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. So I'm not taking this out. I'm not going to eat it today like I normally do. I'm actually taking it into work to my co-workers, and I'm going to hope that they're going to enjoy it with a cup of coffee tomorrow. So pumpkin loaf with walnuts and chocolate chip morsels. I hope you enjoy it as much as, and trust me, I will be getting a piece, and I'll save a piece for my husband as well when I take it into work tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in. More to come. Thanks for your patience. Now you know what was going on, and certainly stay tuned for more Chef Shelley's Kitchen. Bye. Make sure you subscribe. Remember, up in the corner, click on the little picture of me and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Bye-bye.